Good morning, afternoon, and or evening. This is Derek, Professor Silly Gaming, and welcome to Is Fallout 4 Broken on the Xbox Series S. We want to do settlement building. We want to do settlement building now. We just finished Starlight. We did that in two parts. The second part, no crashes, although I wasn't doing as much exploring for materials in that second part. Now, Oberland Station is the other site that Preston initially assigned us after Ten Pines Bluff. It is a farm. It has railroad lines running next to it. A lot of woods around here, so might want to set up some amount of fencing. Yeah, overall, I don't exactly know what I want to do with this. So let's start playing around. Now, of course, there'd be a temptation to put some kind of gate here where the train tracks, because this is where the provisioner would come from. But I've yet to really find a use for these buses. So lining this bus up with the train tracks and placing it right here in the corner of the settlement bounding box seems like it might be a fun idea. So after about 10 minutes of finagling and using the group select to get that sunk down exactly the way I want it, now I want to put a junk fence. I'm not going to fence the entire area in, but I do want to create some amount of fencing with some elevated posts that settlers, farmers, and or I can go up to and shoot from the top of. So I'm going to get a junk fence that I can kind of position into this bus. All right, so I switched to a junk fence that has some barbed wire on top of it. Now I'm on the other side of it, group selecting using a technique I picked up from Serdaic, where I'm using a concrete pole and a rug to move this junk fence into position. That should be about good. I should probably be building in the daytime, not in the nighttime. Also, I think with the steel railroad thing there, I'm not going to be able to get that rug back, but that's okay. All right, now it's daytime. I added another section of fence, and it all looks good in the light of day. Looks good from this side. So we've got the beginning of a corner fence. I was going to put a gate there, like I said, that's the initial instinct, but instead I'm going to do something different here, create a different kind of gate next to the bus. Oh, hey, look, we have one of our robotic provisioners from Starlight right there, doing his job. Good job. So yeah, here's the gate for the junk fence, and as you can see, the slope in the ground renders this pretty much useless. Though either it's going to be floating, or the one part of the door is just going to be sunk so far into the ground it is going to look really weird, and that door frame's not going to look either. So what if instead I use one of these box cars, and I could sink this in? It's shorter, not that one, obviously. I could sink this in the ground somewhat, and it would create a little doorway. Then I can put more junk fence on the other side of it. Yeah, something like that. Sunk down a little bit though. Let's try that. Let's see if it looks good once it's in place. All right. So the trick here is sinking it in low enough that corner on the right hand side isn't floating too much, but that I can still walk through it. And testing, I was able to walk through that. Yeah, that looks all right. And I can walk through it. So it looks a little low for my taste, but it still works. Now, hopefully the Brahmin can get through. It doesn't end up in the bus or something weird because, Fallout. But, nonetheless, that corner looks like it might be floating just a little bit on the outside, but that's good enough for sure. So before I worry about adding another bit of fencing, let's take a look in here. And so yeah, we've got some broken windows, and that broken window is lined up with the path that presumably somebody would come over besides provisioners and besides. So I wonder if I were to grab, say, some kind of turret. So if I have it on the floor, it was too low. Let me see if I can get a laser turret in here. Yeah. So that's a little bit too high, but if I group select it into place, maybe I can have that turret sticking right out the window. That'd be pretty cool. So it took me a little while to get the height of the column to the laser turret just right. And this way, the little bit of that bottom part of the turret's going to sink into the dashboard just like that. And it's in there now, so if I'm going to take it, I'd have to like remove it entirely. Okay, well that front leg is sticking out, and I don't like that. So I need to do something about that front leg. And so a warehouse post to the rescue. And that looks fairly centered. Close enough. And from back here, yeah, I think that works really, really well. So of course, obviously, I'll need to wire that up. I'm gonna need to put some, that's, what is that? That is, wait, okay, hold on, remembering controls. Oh yeah, that's the post from putting that in place, so I can just take that out. Right. Okay, so yeah, the turret looks really well centered. Now those two side legs are hovering, but it looks like it's sitting fine, so that's fine. Then that post has got the front leg covered. Yeah, cool. All right, I don't know that I need to get up on top of this bus all the time, but I should probably put some kind of staircase, just in case I want to put either a conduit for wiring the laser or whatnot. I don't know. I might as well put this in place. Yeah. Oh, not quite high enough for me to walk up there, so I'll just need to just move it up a little bit. Oh yeah, that was way low for where it needed to be. That's a little high. I want it to look like it's actually in the ground. That works. All right, can I walk up now? Sort of. All right, well, the settlers may have a hard time getting up here. May not, but nonetheless, it makes sense for if we were being attacked, that someone could run up there and shoot from the top of the bus potentially, especially if they had, like, say, a rocket launcher or something. Okay. All right. Well, the doorway isn't much of a doorway if there isn't a wall on the other side of it. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put this just next to that little impromptu doorway that we made, and just want to make sure that it looks like it's connected or touching, but not like soaking through it. Not going through the metal in a weird way. Just want to get the angle just right. All right, let's check to see. All right, we can get the pole out of the way, and we can probably recover the rug. Yes, definitely can recover the rug. That is excellent. All right, and let's just get this back over here. All right, so that looks good. Not really poking through that side in a weird way. It's not floating on the other side. So yeah, I think that will work. I really don't think we need to do one of the Vault-Tec fusion things, so maybe just a large generator. Now, am I going to need to... Oh, it turned yellow. I can just put that straight in there. I don't need to do any kind of finagling with it with group select or nothing. So I could have that just sticking out like a little lamp sticking out of there. Well, shoot, in that case, let's just bring us around this side and have the lamp over here by the workbench, yeah? I probably should move the suit of power armor, but I can always just, I don't have to group select it, so I can just finagle it. That looks pretty even the way it is. You can see it, can't really see it under the bottom. Yeah, I can always just move it as I need to, so, because it's letting me snap, it's just letting me put it there, so hey, that's awesome. Okay. All right, here's what I'm thinking. We've got this area for farming here. It's all fenced in with broken down fencing, and I don't have any replacement fencing in vanilla. I've got the short little ones, and then I've got the junk fencing. So let's build a greenhouse. What do you say? So that's where the gate was before. So perhaps I should put like a doorway here for the greenhouse, and do roughly the same shape and size as what exists with the fencing, but make it enclosed, protected from the elements, etc., etc. So let's just get this. That seems to be floating a little bit, but I can always sink it down. That's not hard to do with a concrete pillar. So if I get it squared up with the fence, then I'll know that it's approximately going to be the same shape and size and everything. All right, now that I went and grabbed my concrete pillar, we can just lower this down so it's not floating anymore. It's okay. I'm not going to put any floor pieces in here because that kind of defeats the purpose. Kind of want to use the soil as it is. So as long as we can walk through the doorway, that's fine. All right, now that that's in place, I can put a wall here like that. That looks like it's not quite lined up with the fence, so I can just adjust the angle. All right, and so the general idea with any warehouse, obviously, is to have plenty of glass so that, and a sloped roof, so that as the sun travels across the southern section of the sky, it's allowing the sunlight to hit the stuff inside, and it's not creating extraneous shadows, and ideally it's even intensifying the sun in some ways because of the quote unquote greenhouse effect. All right, so I've noticed something now that's bugging me, and that is that this campfire is right in front of the doorway. Now I can't snap flooring there, so I'm going to play around to see if there's any way I can cover up this campfire or something and see what I can do. Right, long story short, everything looks stupid. So I'm going to rearrange things a little bit. I know that that's where the gate was before, but yeah, we'll just move the doorway over. That fixes the problem for us in a nice way so that they're not walking across that. Then hey, maybe I'll even do the same thing I did in 10 Pines and put a proper fire over that so that there is actually like a fire burning right next to the greenhouse. That makes sense, right? It's not like you have to worry about the ground, the metal, sheet metal of the wall getting like super hot and then somebody burning their tailbone on it or anything like that. Again, no lawyers, so whatever. I'm going to continue this wall towards the existing structure, and here comes what's her face. Actually, as we move further north along the property, I probably don't need to be using the greenhouse pieces. I could start moving into actual warehouse pieces because it's not going to be as important to letting air through. So like by the time I get here, I can go full wall with no window. That is totally not lined up with the existing building at all. But again, because there's nothing else here, I can group select the whole dang thing and just make adjustments. So yeah, let's do that. I can just put this right in the corner, group select the whole thing like so, and then just finagle it to where it needs to be. I'm going to play with this and get it just right. All right, I feel like that is about as good as I need to make it. So with that done, I can get rid of this other fencing over here, and I can continue building the warehouse this direction, or the greenhouse this direction. Now obviously I'm going to want to start worrying about the roof as well, and as with any good greenhouse, we're going to want to have the roof be angled on this side so that it can catch and direct and magnify the solar radiation that's coming in. Once we get all these pieces in place, so that looks like it's going to be a little bit short compared to where it was before. But if I build another section, then it's going to be a lot wider than it was before. But better to be considerably wider than to be slightly smaller, I think. So yeah, we'll just go one more over, and then we'll go from here. So this is going to be a decently sized greenhouse when it's all said and done, it looks like. Now, this might be a little bit boxy in terms of just the general shape of the warehouse. Should I do something like that? No. I should stick with the inclines like I've done so far. So yeah, the way the roof looks is what's going to make this look more or less like a box. So as I come over and it transitions from the greenhouse to the warehouse pieces, I'll need to play around with how I want the roof to look to keep the whole structure looking interesting. That will be key. All right, as you can see, I did a bit more building over there near the existing structure after the sun had basically gone down. It was really dark. I did record it, but it was really, really dark. So I just skipped ahead just so that you don't strain your eyes at all. I may or may not leave those roof sections over there the way it is right now. So we'll see. But this side definitely needs to now move this direction. So let's put these pieces in place and another one to match the other side like that. Yeah, that works. We'll want to get that little diagonal piece in here like so. And then we're going to want a little half glass wall to go right up there. Again, because you want to make sure there's plenty of, as the sun comes up over the horizon and then moves across the southern point of the sky, I want to magnify all of that. Now from here, if I put a angled piece or something like that, then it's going to create I think an issue. So I think flat's the way to go for this section. So we'll just move across here, have some of the windows broken for variety's sake. And yeah, do it like that. A couple broken in the middle. That works. All right, so that is at least the initial portion. Get rid of the rest of these fences. And that post. And so yeah, this is where we're at right now. And popping over to this side, let's see, if I want to do a roof here, how do I want to do the roof? So not that. All right, so yeah, we don't want the water to get trapped up here, so we don't want to have anything like that. Something like this probably makes the most sense. Just a nice sloped roof, like so. And I like the idea of having that rafter across. So not the ones that are completely open, but the ones with the rafters that then look like a little bit of extra support for the roof. And now moving over here, we should probably have glass along this front edge as well, just so that light can reach the rest of the plants that are further back in the structure. So yeah, something like that so that sun can get in. All right. All right, with that, we might as well finish building this wall over here. So let's get the right pieces. We're switching to regular warehouse pieces rather than the greenhouse pieces. Now, what about the idea of putting none of these are wanting to snap. Oh, that's going to snap. Okay, there we go. I was thinking a big barn door, like warehouse barn door type thing, but it wasn't like it was going to snap. All right, and got a big hole there that I'll want to cover with something. I can always group select a piece of wood or something in place to make it look like there was a hole, but then they fixed it with wood. Now, we want to have another doorway leading into the structure besides the ones over there. That, again, won't snap, but that will. These will. The doorway won't. That's weird. That's okay, though. We could put the doorway on this north wall instead. All right, we're not quite... Now, I built a little bit of walls around the workbench, so I think this is where I want to have the structure turn, is right here. All right, things are getting weird because it'll snap going that direction, but it won't snap going across the way I want it to. So it's hitting something. Now, I could just group select it into place, sink it down to the right height and everything, but that's a bit more trouble than I really want to do. So I want that to come across. I just need to find the right piece to do so. So that doesn't want to go the right direction. That doesn't want to go the right direction. It just won't snap the direction that I want it to snap at. I can do a half wall. So let's put the half wall in place. Except we'll go with this one with windows. And then the other half wall also won't snap. There must be something in the ground or something that's preventing this. Again, I can group select something into place. It's not a big deal. Just I'd rather not have to go through all that effort. All right, so on the other side of this, now the door will go there. So yeah, probably going to want to do that. I played around with a bunch of different configurations and nothing else really worked. So we are going to group select this half wall into place. Shouldn't be too hard to do. So I'm just going to get it into position and like so. And with that, we will call it a week with this one. So next time we'll finish building the greenhouse. I think that this will be the first site where I'm going to go up to the build limit and then reset the build limit somewhat and keep building. Let's see how far I can push the Xbox Series S engine with one of these build sites. This isn't a huge build site, so if I go past the build limit, I think I can make this place look a lot more congested than some of my last few builds. So with that, you have a great rest of your whatever. I will see you on the other side, and ta-ta.